Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Welcome to CalSO. Congratulations on your acceptance to Berkeley. I'm Christina Yassi. I'm one of the undergraduate advisors for the econ department. Ginny is in the back of the room. Hi, Ginny. She's the other advisor. We're really excited to meet you, welcome you to campus, and we look forward to working with you in the fall. So as you've probably noticed, today's session is being recorded. I typically like to start the CalSO session with everyone introducing themselves and telling us where you're transferring from and why you want to be an econ major. But then I would have to hunt all 50 of you down and have you sign a waiver form, so we're not going to do that today. We're going to start with the basics. I can't promise the next half hour is going to be the most exciting half hour of your life, but all the information that we're going to give you is very important. We're going to end with some general Q&A. Then once we stop the recording, we're going to do some one-on-one advising, and we're going to talk more in depth about the enrollment information and prereqs that you should have received when you were walking in. It would be your blue sheet. Okay, so let's get started with talking about the steps for getting into the major. I hope you all realize that you are actually accepted to Berkeley as undeclared. You're not econ majors yet. And considering that we expected to have 29 students here today, and this room fits 50, I know we have a lot of crashers. So many of you applied to the university as something other than an econ major, and that's fine. We get that question a lot. Say I applied to Berkeley as a poli-sci major, but I want to be econ. Hypothetically, we can work that out. There's a few things that need to happen before you can be an econ major, though. And the first is actually applying. Our application is online. It becomes available the first day of class, and the deadline for the fall will be September 21st at 4 p.m. Make sure you apply. I would hate for someone not to be an econ major simply because they didn't submit the application. It's a simple thing to do. It takes 5 minutes. Just make sure you do it. Then, of course, you'll enroll in your remaining prerequisites. We're going to be talking more in depth about what those are. And you're going to be doing well in those prerequisites. Should all those things happen successfully, you'll formally declare the major over the holiday break. And going into this spring semester, you'll be an official econ major, which is a good thing because with the exception of our prerequisite courses, all our electives are restricted to econ majors. So you can't get a seat in an elective until you're declared. So let's talk more about the prerequisite courses. We expect that if you've been accepted to Berkeley as an intended econ transfer student, you've completed the calculus prerequisite. So this would either be 2 semesters or 3 quarters at your transfer institution. And this is really important that you already have this done before taking classes in the fall. We're a very quantitative major. So if you're missing any of the calculus sequence, we would consider you underprepared in the fall semester. We also expect that you've completed your introductory economics. This would either be 2 semesters or 3 quarters of intro econ at your transfer institution. However, it articulates to Econ 1 at Berkeley. We're the only institution I know of that teaches both intro, micro, and macro in 1 semester. So that would be the equivalent of Econ 1. And once again, we expect that that's also done. We don't expect that you're transferring in the statistics prerequisite. 98% of transfer students take the statistics prereq in their first semester on campus. And you have a few options for completing that. Typically, students are taking statistics 20 or 21. Rarely we see students taking stat 25. And there are also a couple upper division statistics courses that we accept, stat 131A or stat 134. And if you'd like to consider taking an upper division statistics course, we can talk to you about your level of preparedness. Does anyone in this room think that they are transferring in the stat prereq? Okay. Maybe not. Okay. Well, if you think you might be transferring in stat 20 or 21, just be aware that we have a quantitative residency requirement. Basically what that means is you have to take a statistics or a math class on campus. So if you're transferring in the 1 year of calculus and a statistics course, you will need to take an alternative math or stat course, and we'll talk to you about what is and is not appropriate. Just let us know if you think you fall into that category. So everyone in this room should be taking stat in the fall. And then the other course you'll be taking is your intermediate theory course. So that's either intermediate microeconomics or intermediate macroeconomics. And I want to pause for a minute and talk a little bit about that because I heard everyone talking about, oh, I don't want to take micro or I don't want to take macro based on the cards that you were given on your sheet. I personally recommend taking micro your first semester on campus because come spring semester, you're going to be able to take most of the electives that we're offering. Econ 100A or 101A is pretty much a prerequisite for everything we offer. If you take macroeconomics in the fall, you may find yourself in a situation where you can't take any electives in the spring. So I do just want to caution you on that. Is anyone in this room considering taking the 101 series, either Econ 101A or 101B? Okay, great. So just be aware that to enroll in Econ 101A, you need to have successfully completed multivariable calculus already. That's Math 53 at Berkeley. Enrollment in all of these courses is very restricted, and that's why we've set aside seats in 100A and 100B, and that's what's attached to your blue sheets. We haven't set aside any seats in 101A or 101B because seating is so restricted. So for those of you that are interested and eligible for those courses, when we break down for one-on-one advising, we'll talk with you more in depth about that. So are there any questions about the prerequisite courses?
Is Stat 21 harder than or they're like the same?
Good question. Is Stat 21 harder than Stat 20? In regard to preparation for the econ major, both will prepare you for further courses. Stat 21 teaches the same concepts as Stat 20, but they use business models. So I would say it's a good choice for students who are a little bit more interested in the business aspect of econ. However, from a difficulty standpoint or a grading curve standpoint, they're the exact same. Statistics is typically the course that students get the lowest grade in, or rather transfer students get the lowest grade in their first semester on campus. The theory course, transfer students are typically getting A's and B's. We see a lot of C's in lower division statistics, so just don't be surprised by that.
So were you saying that if we haven't finished our year of calculus, then our chances of being able to change our major to econ is pretty low?
So if you find yourself being someone who isn't going to have the entire calculus sequence done in the fall, talk with us one-on-one. But the benefit of being here at the first CalSO is you might be able to squeeze in a math class this summer. So it's great that you're hearing this information on June 7th. The students who are here on July 5th won't be as fortunate. But we'll talk with you one-on-one about that.
So can you give us some details about what's different between 100A and 101A?
Yeah, we'll talk more about that at the end, the difference between the 100 series and the 101 series. Okay. And we are a capped major, which means we have a unit cap and GPA requirements. So as transfer students, you have to be eligible to declare econ at the end of your first semester on campus, and for all of you, that would be the fall semester. We don't count summer as a semester. I know some of you are probably taking stat over the summer here, or maybe finishing up the calculus. We don't consider that to be your first semester. So for everyone in this room who's going to be enrolled in the fall, you need to be eligible to declare econ at the end of the fall. You won't be allowed to submit an application in the spring. We expect that you have a 3.0 or higher GPA in the prerequisite courses you took at your transfer institution. And this isn't something that we typically worry about because if you've been accepted to Berkeley, you probably have stellar grades at your transfer institution. So more importantly,
Does Stat 21 count as a 3.0 or you need 2.7? Or one of the stats?
So if you're taking summer courses at Berkeley, and it's one of the prerequisites like statistics, it's going to count to the second GPA I'm about to explain. So any prerequisite courses you take on campus, which for most of you should be statistics in your theory, you need to have a 2.7 or higher. And a 2.7 is a B minus. That does not mean you have to get a B minus in both classes. As I was saying, a lot of students get a C in Stat 20 or 21, but you can balance that out with an A in your theory course. I believe an A in a C plus equals a 2.8 or something like that. So you would have met the threshold and will be accepted to Berkeley. Just be aware we do not average the two GPAs. Your transfer GPA and then your campus GPA need to stand on their own. Is that clear? Okay. So what to take in the fall? If you're taking statistics and you're taking your intermediate theory, that's going to be 8 units. Now, I know you all just came from the Letters and Science info session. How many units do you need to be enrolled in to be full-time? Yes. So what else to take? We recommend that you register for a course in preparation for an alternate major. I know no one wants to think about an alternate major. Obviously, you're all in this room because you want to be econ majors. And I hate throwing out statistics just to scare people, but I do want to tell you that out of all the applications we receive, 65% of students get into econ, which means 35% of students need to have an alternate major. So if you're not planning for your alternate major, you'll be going into the spring undeclared. And you don't want to be a second semester junior with no major. So we recommend that the third course you're taking is something for an alternate major. And Ginny and I can talk more in depth with you based on your interest and your goals, what appropriate alternate majors would be. And Letters and Science advisors are also available to speak with you about that. So that would get you up to either 11 or 12 units. We recommend only doing 13 or 14 units, taking it light your first semester on campus. So how to round out those last few units? You can take a decal. Decals are a lot of fun. They're 1 or 2 unit pass-no-pass courses that are initiated by students. They range in topics like from the philosophy of The Simpsons to wheelchair basketball to really anything you can think of. And it's a great way to meet other students and just have a nice light 1 or 2 units. We also recommend considering doing Ed 198 through the Transfer, Reentry, and Student Parent Center. It's a course designed to get transfer students acclimated to Berkeley. And the advisors at the Transfer Center are wonderful. You'll have an opportunity, I believe, to meet them after lunch today. Some students feel compelled to get the American Cultures requirement done their first semester on campus. I say there's no rush. There's no reason you can't wait to do it in the spring. But if you're looking to fulfill a requirement, you could take a course that fulfills the American Cultures in the fall as well. Don't go nuts, though. Keep it to 13 or 14 units. You'll be happy that you did. So once you're actually accepted into the major, there's 8 courses you need to graduate, 3 of which are required. So you'll be taking one in the fall, your macro or your micro theory. Then in the spring, you'll take whichever you did not take in the fall. And then there's econometrics. Beyond that, there's 5 upper division electives. We have a very lengthy list on our website that shows all the electives that you can choose from. So hopefully there's a lot that are interesting to you. And that's all you need to do for econ. It's 8 upper division classes. There's a lot of flexibility. Some students think that as transfer students coming here, you don't have the option to do study abroad or research or things like that because you're going to be so busy completing your major requirements. Not true. And actually, I encourage all of you to consider doing a study abroad. We can easily cater a schedule to you that allows you to go study in another country. So Ginny and I are here to make sure that you're doing everything you need to be doing for the major and you're fulfilling all the econ requirements. Above and beyond that, it's your responsibility to be making sure you're fulfilling the college and the university requirements. I definitely recommend that you're meeting with Letters and Science advisors to make sure you're fulfilling all your units, you're doing senior residency, and all the things that Ginny and I are not experts in. So are there any questions about what's actually required to graduate from econ? It's pretty straightforward. We want you all to be successful. I know I gave you the statistic that 65% of students who apply to economics get accepted, but if 100% of our applicants met the requirements, we would accept 100% of them. So to that end, we offer free tutoring because we do want our students to be successful. Not all departments have this luxury. We have tutors for all the required courses. It all takes place in this building, either on the 5th or 6th floor. It typically starts the 2nd week of the semester, and I want you all to get into the habit of going to tutoring right away. How many of you were actually tutors at your transfer institution? Right, so you know the value of it because it's something that you did. Factor it into your schedule right away. The time to seek tutoring isn't 3 days before the midterm. Start doing it the second week of classes, get into the habit, and don't start seeking it once you fall behind. We also maintain a list of PhD students you can hire for tutoring. If that's something that you want to consider, it can be expensive, but we have that information on our website as well. The Student Learning Center is also a resource you should get familiar with immediately. They offer tutoring for math, statistics, and for writing. And for those of you who are looking to enhance your language skills, you can check out the SLC and also the Berkeley International House. I hope that those of you who are international students are already connected with them. Lots of opportunities for academic assistance on campus, though. Just reach out and take them. There are so many resources to know about on campus. I feel I could have filled 5 slides. So I just wanted to highlight a few of them. And I believe after lunch today, some of these offices are going to be available to speak with you. So make sure to make those connections. I do just want to highlight the Transfer, Reentry, and Student Parents Center. Lorena and Ron over there are great. And then for those of you that are international students, as I said, I hope you've already connected with the Berkeley International Office. Cal's a very big place, and there are people across campus who are here and they want to help you. Not only do they want to help you, they are being paid to help you. That is their job. But you really need to reach out and ask for it. Sometimes we don't know that you need help unless you're coming into our office. So don't be shy, take advantage of all these resources across campus. I also encourage you to get involved in student groups. There are 2 student groups that are econ specific. There's the Undergraduate Economics Association, which is the only department-sponsored club we have. Then there's also Omicron Delta Epsilon, which is an honors society. There's a GPA minimum to join. They throw great events as well, though. I want to highlight our econ peer advisors. I typically like to have a peer advisor at CalSO to talk with you about the student experience, and unfortunately no one was available today. But econ peer advisors are available in the same rooms at the same times that Ginny and I are. It's on a drop-in basis, and I actually think they're going to be your best resource in the fall. They're available the first day of classes. Come in and speak with them about schedule planning, get the inside scoop on faculty. They've lived through the experience you're about to live through, so definitely take advantage. And here's our contact information. We're just 1 floor below in 539 Evans Hall. Our drop-in hours are 10 to 4. We don't do appointments, it's all drop-in. If you email us at eugrad@econ.berkeley.edu, both Ginny and I get those emails, and our turnaround time is typically 1 business day. We also offer Skype advising. If you see us signed on to Skype, you don't need an appointment. You can just chat us. If we're not signed on and you would like to have a video conference, you can email us and we can set up an appointment for that. Skype is a great option for those of you who are joining us either from outside the country or outside the state. So now I want to open it up for general Q&A. We're going to keep recording right now, so I want to limit the questions to general questions that might be beneficial to everyone. And once we stop recording, everyone's going to have an opportunity to speak with Ginny or I one-on-one. So, questions?
Or the main difference between the 101 series and the 100 series? I know that it's more math-based, but can you get specific as far as the math or how someone would be comfortable?
Okay, so the difference between the 100 series and the 101 series. The 101 series is the course sequence we recommend for students who are interested in pursuing a PhD program. And with 101A in particular, you can't enroll in it until you've successfully completed multivariable calculus, which is Math 53 at Berkeley. So we do consider them to actually be significantly more challenging, and it goes into all the topics that you would have learned in 100A or 100B much more in depth. As for the day-to-day realities of what the differences in those classes are, that's why I would recommend speaking with a peer advisor who's taking those courses, and they can tell you more about that. I myself have not taken them. But if you're interested in getting a PhD in econ, definitely talk with us because we would be more inclined to recommend the 101 series if you're quantitatively prepared for it. So, good question.
I have 2 quick questions. One, regarding the statistics options, Stat 20 and 21. I like that Stat 21 is geared towards business, but is it, I heard that it has like a harder curve So do you recommend maybe, like, is it easier to get a higher grade in Stat
Okay,
20?
so the question is about the difference between Stat 20 and 21 in the grading curve.
Yeah.
So there's no difference in the grading curve. I think, the rumor mill says that Stat 21 is harder because it's business students and business students are more competitive. But I can tell you, based on the econ applicant pool in the students who are taking Stat 20 or 21, most students are getting C's, whether you're taking Stat 20 or 21. So Ginny and I do not see any difference in the grading curve, at least as it stands amongst the econ applicant pool.
Okay, and then another question was, in several of the the elective classes, it said it said Math 100 or 101A, and there's a dash B. Does that mean both A and B before you can even take these elective courses? Or just
So if a prerequisite lists Math 1A-B, is that your question?
No, not math, I'm sorry, the econ.
Oh, so if the prerequisite says Econ 100A-B, yes, that means we expect you have both 100A and 100B completed before taking that course.
Okay.
Where about, is there a central area on the campus that's economics? Is it a certain side of campus?
Is there a central area on campus that is economics?
Yeah.
Yes, it is the 5th and 6th floor of Evans Hall. All our faculty are here. Ginny, do you have anything to add to that?
No, we're actually in a great group. We have the math, statistics, LMS advising, and economics all in the same building.
And the College of Letters and Science. So Letters and Science is on the 2nd floor, Statistics is on the 3rd, Math is on the 9th and 10th, and then Econ is on the 5th and 6th. So. So everything you need is in this building, this seismically unsound building. Let's hope it's still here when you guys get to campus in the fall.
Is the transfer equivalency evaluator guy here today by any chance? The one that evaluates courses for equivalency?
Okay, your question is about getting a course evaluated for equivalency. What kind of course?
It was for my first semester calculus, I like a business calculus with applications class. That my school does have a separate series for the two math series.
Okay, so if the question is about math equivalency, you would actually want to speak with the math department. So math and statistics have similar protocol for evaluating courses. They have a form that you fill out and you attach the syllabus, and then a faculty member in the department reviews it. But beyond that, I don't know what the turnaround time is or anything like that, so you would need to contact the department directly. If it was an econ course that anyone's interested in having evaluated, we have an online form that you can submit your syllabi at, and I coordinate that process. Good questions.
I know you said that we should take 100A first, that was more prereqs, but obviously we want to do well our first semester. If you're more comfortable with macroeconomics, or you feel like you can do more better in that course, is it wise to take 100B first before 100A?
Okay, it's a very valid question. What to take in the fall, 100A or 100B? And just keep in mind, we'll talk more about this a little bit when we stop recording. A lot of you are going to be restrained by what we actually have seats in. But let's say, in a perfect world, we have plenty of seats for everyone in both courses. There's pros and cons to 100A and 100B. I tend to encourage students to take 100A because pretty much all our elective courses require 100A. So come this spring, I don't know yet what electives we'll be offering, but chances are, if you only have 100B completed, your options in the spring 2013 semester are going to be limited. With that being said, if you feel you'd be more comfortable with the 100B material and more apt to meet the 2.7 GPA requirement, is it a better bet to take 100B? And I think it's really a personal choice. I want everyone to feel confident. I want you to challenge yourselves. I mean, you got into Berkeley. You can do this material. You're not going to do poorly in classes because you're not smart enough. You're going to do poorly in classes because you manage your time poorly and because you get behind and you wait until 2 days before the midterm to get tutoring. I see it happen all the time. Everyone in this room is capable of doing fine in either macro or micro. You just need to be smart when you get to campus. No, you are already smart. I mean, study smart, And that's what Ginny and I are here for, to help you with that process. So please, come and meet with us once you get here.
Is there any courses in the econ department that we can double dip that would satisfy the American cultures requirement?
The econ department does not have any American cultures courses.
So after we take the 100A and 100B, if we still take the 101A, so that class will not be counted as the unit, right?
I'm sorry, I don't know if I understand.
Like after we take 100A and 100B, if we still take 101A, so that class will not count as a unit.
Okay, so you're saying if you took the 100 series and then you took the 101 series, what would happen? So you wouldn't get units for it, and it wouldn't be a good use of your time and a good way to plan your schedule. If you're interested in the 101 series, we can talk with you about that, but you wouldn't want to do that.
But how about GPA will be counted, right?
No, you don't get units.
Don't get units.
It's a full unit restriction, right? Yeah, it's a full unit restriction.
Are there any other econ classes we can take in the fall other than the 100 and 101 series?
So are there any other econ classes you can take other than macro or micro? So all our electives require either intermediate macro or micro as a prerequisite. And we also just in general wouldn't recommend taking another econ class, even if you could. It's just not a balanced schedule. Did Letters and Science talk about the balanced meal schedule during your info session? Not having too much quantitative courses and whatnot. So if you're taking statistics and trying to get 2 econ classes done, it just wouldn't be what we would consider balanced. So, any other general questions? Okay, great. So what's going to happen now is we're going to talk about those little sheets of paper everyone received with enrollment information, and we're going to do one-on-one advising. I want to thank Alex, our cameraman, and to our audience at home, thank you.